Let us remind you how we got here. The federal budget had to be reauthorized by October the 1st. Republicans in the House passed a funding bill, but they attached a rollback of the president's health care law known as Obamacare. Neither the president nor the Democrats in the Senate would stand for that. Now, Republicans say they will not fund the government until President Obama agrees to budget cuts. Mr. Obama says he won't talk about the budget until the government is funded. The president had a word for this today.
We can't make extortion routine as part of our democracy. Democracy doesn't function this way. And this is not just for me, it's also for my successors in office. Whatever party they're from, they shouldn't have to pay a ransom either for Congress doing its basic job. We got to put a stop to it.
But the partial shutdown is not the half of it. Next week, Congress must approve the payment of America's growing debts or allow Uncle Sam to become a deadbeat for the first time in history. Late today, the leader of the Republicans, House Speaker John Boehner, said they will not authorize this increase in the so-called debt ceiling unless the president agrees to budget cuts first.
There's going to be a negotiation here. We can't raise the debt ceiling without doing something about what's driving us to borrow more money and to live beyond our means. The idea that we should continue to spend money that we don't have and give the bill to our kids and our grandkids would be wrong. This isn't about me, and frankly, it's not about Republicans. This is about saving the future for our kids and our grandkids.
It's next week's deadline on paying America's debts that is the biggest threat to the economy. That has turned Wall Street increasingly sour. The Dow hit an all-time high in mid-September, but since then it has fallen 900 points. It dropped nearly 160 today after hearing the Speaker and the President. It closed today at 14,776. So, who's afraid of a federal default? Here's Anthony Mason.
The U.S. Treasury is already using emergency measures to pay its bills. But by October 17th, it'll be down to $30 billion in cash.
$30 billion in the Treasury is equivalent to probably $30 in your checkbook or mine.
Mark Patterson, a former Treasury chief of staff under President Obama, says before the end of this month, the U.S. government will owe $12 billion in Social Security payments and $6 billion in interest payments on the debt. And on the 1st of next month, another $58 billion is due in Social Security, Medicare, and military and veterans benefits. The president would have to decide who to pay and who to delay.
When I was at the Treasury, we looked at all the options for sort of contingency plans. They all have sort of god-awful consequences.
If, for example, the government can't pay interest on its Treasury bills, which are considered the world's safest investment, it could cause chaos in financial markets. As Goldman Sachs CEO Lloyd Blankfein said at the White House last week,
we're the most important economy in the world. We're the reserve currency of the world. Payments have to go out to people. If money doesn't flow in, then money doesn't flow out. So we really haven't seen this before, and I'm not anxious to be a part of the process that witnesses it.
A debt ceiling crisis, by one estimate, could cause interest rates to double on new mortgages, credit cards, student loans, and auto loans.
This is a country that pays all of its bills on time, always has, not a day late or a dollar short. That's the U.S. Treasury. And if we operate in a different way, we are just asking to become a country that has frequent debt crises like Greece.
The Treasury borrows nearly $1 out of every $5 it spends. One Wall Street analyst said calculating the effects of a U.S. debt default is like preparing for a large asteroid impact.
And we'll keep following this. Anthony, thanks very much.